We're all here. Jake. Dude. Jake has an open mic.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
No, I think it was Jameson's mic that was open, so I muted it. There he is. Oh God, he's so good looking. All right, we are live right now, just so you know. We are live. This is the pre-game sneak peek live for the 0 people out there who watch this starting at 0 minutes.
Yeah.
But how I can go louder.
So I think we're gonna try and do Twitter Spaces at the same time as this. We're gonna simulcast, which is gonna be weird. So Zach will send you an invite on the Twitters. Okay, actually, he doesn't even need to invite me. I can just pop in, and then I'll request mic access. And I've got my phone turned all the way down, so I shouldn't get any reverb from Zach.
That's what I'm trying to do.
All right, I'm talking now on both, hopefully. There we go.
Okay, and then
I'll try and keep tabs on. That shirt is... I'm going on a cruise in August, and I feel like I need that shirt.
I got it off the Wish app.
Oh, my God, really?
It was like $18.
That's way too much. Nothing on Wish should cost more than like...
It might fit you. I got like a triple XL because it was like China.
So it might. I've been losing weight. I'm thinner than I was at the beginning of the year.
That's good. I'm proud of you.
That's the mission.
I'm not thinner.
Zach's just making all sorts of noise over there, adjusting his mic.
I can hardly hear. I don't know. Should I get headphones or something?
You might want to, yeah.
Okay. I think they're in my car. BRB.
All right, so we'll wait for him to come back, and then we'll actually start. I've got us live right now just to try and get some viewers hopefully popping in here before we even start.
Yeah, that'd be...
I've been learning that because that's something Bruce Nolan does on his streams. He'll always start like 5 or 10 minutes before his stream, and he'll just kind of banter for a little while. And if you listen to his podcast, I actually have seen that he uses the intro music to cover up the conversation he's having. I figured that out on the last episode he did, or I don't know if the last episode I listened to, because at the end of the conversation, you can hear he's talking to other people.
Gotcha.
So make sure you're muted right now. Hey, Brian. I think it's Brian. Oh, geez. But this is loud. There we go. I don't want to hear you.
So make it like...
So there, Brian popped in, but now he's gone.
Poor Brian. Was it Brian, the guy from the Bills backers down there in Florida that we podcasted with last time?
Might be. I'm noticing that there's no way for me to turn you off completely, so hopefully we don't get any echo. I've turned you way down.
Maybe it's Brian Dable. We could bring him on and have a chat.
Oh my God, it was Brian Dable.
Yeah.
I'd leave this group chat with that too.
That's fair. Yeah, that's not a good idea. So what we'll do is I'll go to the music. I'll kick us all out of here. Actually, we can all stay in here. I'll go to the music. I'll put the banner on. Get the branding going, and we'll see if anyone pops in here. We'll just kind of talk Bills and whatever the heck we feel like. I feel like we can just be like 3 guys hanging out at the bar right now.
Yeah,
it's like we're at Al's.
Chat.
All right.
I mean, it has us live on YouTube already, so.
No, we are live, yeah. So we've been live for like 5 minutes. All this banter has, guys, just because it's no one's popping in. So what are they missing? Nothing. All right, I'm gonna do a countdown though now because now we're really starting. So here we go. You'll see a countdown and then we'll be going. Well, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. If I don't see you tomorrow, good morning. Welcome to the Bills backers of Kansas City. It's Tuesday. It's 7:04. And do you know where your children are, Jaimeson?
Did you hear that? He's downstairs screaming. He took over my man cave to watch Christmas movies. So
yeah, that came through. So we do have Jaimeson with us. He is a special guest this week. Hopefully it becomes a little bit of a more reoccurring theme. But just talking Bills today. We're talking Bills, talking football, talking NFL. What do you want to start with, guys? I've got some ideas, but if you've got something, let's roll with it.
Well, I want to start off with, Jaimeson does an awesome job running our Instagram account, so you need to get on there and follow it because there's great content quite often. So
yeah,
that is true.
Typically I try to, we do the 24-hour rule. It stays with Instagram as well. So obviously we're a little upset about last week. We'll talk about that today, I'm sure. But I had to get some memes out there along with the rest of Bills Mafia. And then now we're rolling to, Panthers week. So totally focused on crushing that source of wildlife.
Yeah, it is Panthers week. And news before we start with that, even, did you guys hear how many COVID cases there have been in the last 2 days? Schefter just reported this. This is breaking news.
I think the NFL, I saw it was in the 20s in the NFL as a whole.
Yeah. So the whole NFL, 72 positive cases in the last 2 days. So either somebody's not doing their job at the chemistry testing lab, or we might have a problem.
Houston, we might have a problem.
But Jaimeson, hey, if you hop on Twitter, you should be able to join our spaces. That way, people can hear you there as well.
Let's see.
We don't have anyone in there yet, but who knows? Someday people might find out that we do this. So for those of you who listen later on to the show, after the live show's already aired, we are now trying to do a simulcast on Twitter Spaces, as well as turn yourself down.
Happened.
Yeah, you're good. As well as YouTube. So that's where we're at.
How unmute yourself too so they can hear you.
I don't know what's happening.
There you go. You're good.
Is that better? I just don't want background noise.
Yeah, just turn it all the way down. We'll hear it. Now. You'll hear it a little no matter what, but it won't reverb as long as you don't hold it into the mic.
Okay.
So this is exciting. This is exciting development. The simulcast here. We're basically the Pat McAfee show at this point. I think we've stepped up to that level. Come at me, Pat.
Yeah. So one thing that obviously Bills fans have kind of been griping about on Twitter, and not even just Bills fans, I'll be honest, it's anybody who potentially, even if they didn't want the Bills to win that game, which a lot of Chiefs fans for some weird reason have this obsession to hate the Bills. But my friends have told me, you guys got screwed on that. Diggs was completely manhandled in the end zone. And I know that's something that it's just going to bug me until we can go out and hopefully whoop up the Panthers.
Yeah, I would not want to be the Panthers this week because that team was already pissed off going into Tampa Bay. But I think they are going to go in doubly pissed off, especially at home against the Panthers. Hopefully not a blizzard, because we don't want to play in any more of those.
I hope for Jameson's sake that it is.
Me too.
Oh, right.
That's true. I'm going to be there. We got tickets, so I'm going to fly in. But yeah, let's touch on, I think, the Buccaneers game a little bit, because we can't not talk about what happened there.
I choose not to want to, but let's do it.
We have to. So we can just fast forward to the fourth quarter if that's what you guys want.
I think talking about the beginning part of the game is a perfect example of what my issue is with Brian Dable. And if he got on and listened a little bit ago, I'd like him to pop back on, because just the play calling in general was a big issue in this game, in my opinion. It wasn't Josh Allen. He was not the problem.
So I have a theory, and maybe it's my theory, maybe others share it, but Brian Dable has gotten extremely conservative. I think he does good enough when he has to keep his job. You can't fire a guy that's, performing. It's a winning team at the end of the day. And he has so much talent. I think they're underperforming. I think anybody can agree with that. But he's gotten so conservative. And I think we saw that in the Bucs game as well as the Jaguars game. That's a huge example too, where he's so afraid to kind of use the weapons what he has, get the big pass, the big plays. And then, gets to the point where we're digging ourselves out of a hole. I think fourth quarter came and Josh says, you know what, we're doing it my way. I think Dable got a message from maybe Sean or somebody, and it's just game time, and look what we can do.
Yeah. Hurts to see Josh Allen hurt, honestly. Of course, we've got a capable backup that can go in and hopefully win a game. That's why we brought him in. Trubisky's the guy that, we were hoping. He's probably yes. This is a PG podcast, but
I didn't say anything.
And that's why I was like, I almost said that nickname, and then I was like, wait, I can't say that. That's why I was struggling to come.
That's not true.
It's appropriate it's allowed on Twitter.
We could say whatever we want. This is the
true.
internet.
True.
There's no rules on Instagram. I don't know what to do here.
He did put it out there on Twitter himself, so it was already out in the universe. But, we brought him in there in hopes that, he's probably the best backup in the league because he was a starter. He has experience, and he's somebody that I think Dable and McDermott both wanted to have a capable quarterback there in case something happens, because this team was, as much as right now I want to laugh saying this, they were all in. This was the year for them to try to make a push. Not the only year, but it was one of the years that, Josh Allen's still not on his mega deal yet. So we needed to make that push. And, you don't want Josh to go down and then screw yourself when he goes out for potentially, 3 weeks. So at least Titty Licker gives us the chance.
Oh, Snappy did it.
Yeah. Can we go ahead and beep that? Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Hit the delay button. Hit the delay button.
The refs do it anyways. Why can't we?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like that
I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna disagree with you, Zach, and I want to go back to Jameson's point too about Dable. I do think that Dable has been incredibly conservative this year. I don't know if that's from Dable or from Sean McDermott. We've seen incredible conservatism, I believe that would be the word, from this coaching staff this season. It's almost like the expectations have been too big for them. And I'd hate to say that because, Sean McDermott coached in a Super Bowl. I don't know how much his expectations could get bigger. He wasn't the head coach, but he was a coach. He was the D coordinator, I believe, correct?
Yep.
And I do think that Dable has been more conservative, but I don't know if Dable is the reason that he's been more conservative, or maybe behind the doors, McDermott has been saying, hey, we want to be careful here. We want to not turn the ball over as much. So I don't want to see these types of plays. But when it comes to it, we're turning the ball over from fumbling more than we're turning the ball over through the air. You'll get an interception every once in a while, but the Bills have been catching the fumbles left and right.
Yeah, and it's like we got very conservative in the red zone this year. Josh Allen was a deadly threat in the red zone in years past, even his rookie year. And it's like you took that ability for him to run away in the red zone. It's like you're kind of trying to tell him not to do it. And it seemed like in the fourth quarter, like Jaimeson said, screw it, let Josh be Josh and do what he's going to do to win the game. And he put it all out there. Same with Gabe Davis. Props for him on that first down. He put all the effort in the world because it would have been short.
That is 100% actually something that you brought up that's great about the red zone efficiency. That's been one of the biggest differences between this season and last season. Last season, we got inside 20 yards. You pretty much knew we were getting that touchdown. This season, it's 40% touchdown, 60% McDermott's going to kick a field goal. Maybe 59% McDermott's going to kick a field goal, and then 1% somebody's going to really, really mess up and fumble.
Or so go fourth down.
two builds off of that. So if we're going to touch on the conservative is too, the defense a little bit. So the expectation going into the season on the D line was through the roof. Anybody looking at it in the offseason was like, holy cow, look at these guys. You bring in Greg Rousseau, who's an absolute monster. We have 5-6 DEs. Oliver, he was supposed to have a breakout year, and I think arguably he is having a great year. But we're not getting pressure. We're really not getting great pressure. Milano is an animal when he gets released in the backfield. We see that, and it's incredible to see. John knows where I'm going with this. I swear, no, that's not where I'm going. But what I'm saying is we're not amping up the pressure. Then all of a sudden we do. You got Poyer Hyde coming from those safety blitzes positions. Maybe I understand not bringing the corner blitzes, just having Trey White out. You can't lose anybody at that position right now. But there's some conservatism on the defensive side as well. Then we talk about Josh. So obviously the big contract, we want to keep him healthy, but what makes this offense move the ball more than a mobile Josh? And when he's able to scramble, and that's just one extra player out there. We run the ball. That's one thing I think Josh said in the press conference. When I keep the ball and run it, we have an extra blocker. And it's so true. He spreads the field. Receivers start getting open. You got to play the zone against it.
Yeah, even that play where he was hurt, you've seen he didn't have the ability to step up, and all he did was flick his wrist, and somehow just a perfect throw. And that's just Allen using athleticism to extend plays.
Yep.
Yeah.
You mentioned defense, Jaimeson.
I didn't want to even go.
I'm not going there yet, but I have to go there because my listeners expect it every week. But where I was going to go was being conservative, and it seemed like in that first half it really got conservative. Second half we started to see us slow down Brady, and there was a lot more of McDermott talking to Leslie Frazier, and it makes you wonder if McDermott kind of took over a little bit in the second half, just like we saw in previous weeks where he set Matt Milano in against the Patriots to stop the run when he had to. And it's almost like McDermott's kind of getting fed up with the conservatism and looking, I can't say that word, my goodness. But Edmonds, for instance, he's such a big guy, and he should be a guy that I didn't get to say this last week because Randy didn't join me, but in the last week he had 2 tackles. As New England ran the ball, he had 2 tackles, and that's all he had. He's not playing physical. He's not playing to his size. And he just seems lost out there a little bit. And I know you're going to disagree, Randy, but I mean, everybody's got to be seeing it. And Jaimeson and I were the first ones to call this out all season.
I'm not ready to completely abandon to Edmonds. Not ready to completely abandon him, but I will say the play the last 2 weeks specifically has really fallen off. And he has actually, in some ways, been the opposite of conservative. He's been over pursuing and leaving massive holes behind him. Speaking of over pursuing, can we talk about Micah Hyde?
Oh, now you're talking in the New England game.
No, yeah, he did it twice. He did it in this game too. 2 games in a row, Micah Hyde has taken a bad angle and left a gaping hole for a long run.
I think that goes down to the big thing for me is Trey White being out, because I think McDermott and Leslie Frazier have told Micah Hyde, we need to rely on you a little bit more to make plays, and he's not able to play in the same type of role where he was. He's feeling like he's trying to help guys out, the rookies. Dane Jackson, not really a rookie, but he hasn't got the experience yet. And Levi Wallace, who just has a hard time against big wide receivers and gets big bodied, and sometimes, I'll be quite honest, gets pulled into the receiver and then somehow gets thrown a flag. I don't understand that one. And what's even more funny, it's not funny, it's comical now because it's over, was the same ref who chose not to throw the flag on the Diggs play, decides to, oh yeah, I got you now, flag.
I think we know who that ref had money on in this game. And the refereeing was atrocious. And like, I'm not even one to usually blame refereeing. I'm the guy who usually says, you gotta play the game. You can't leave it in the hands of referees. But my God, first of all, I need to throw a flag on you two for leaving the bar early and missing the comeback.
It wouldn't have happened if I didn't leave the bar. That's exactly what would have happened.
Now we have to leave the bar every halftime.
But I want your guys' opinion on something here, and it's the thought process. You look at these referees and what they're calling. Are they really wanting that Tom Brady versus Bill Belichick Super Bowl? Is it what they're really wanting? Or is there even
the X-Files soundboard now?
There's even been, last year, one of the head of refereeing came out and said something about he'd rather piss off a small market team than a big market team if it's going to affect the game. And I think a lot of that came down to they were not going to penalize the Bills in that situation because Tom Brady would have lost his damn mind. He really would have. And if the roles were flipped, Brady would have got that call. And that's really what irritates me. There's no way they don't throw that flag for Brady. And it seems like Allen and Diggs both are getting treated like rookies. They're not getting treated like the MVP caliber players that they are. So just wanted your thoughts on that.
I think so the fact that that's brought up is what's the concern. The fact that we have a discussion of a caliber quarterback versus another quarterback getting calls or not. I mean, it should be equal across the board. Doesn't matter. I was talking to somebody today, and they were talking about how Tom Brady, they're easy on him because he's older. He's maybe more fragile. I said, you know what? Whatever. Doesn't matter. Get out of the NFL then. If you're going to be playing in the NFL and you want to be the GOAT, then you shouldn't have anything. In fact, it should be harder for you. Yeah. It is incredible to me. And, I'm the same way. I've learned not to blame the refs anymore because that's part of it, part of the game. You just assume we're going to never get the calls in the Bills' favor. It never has happened, never will. But when it comes down to it, like that was one of the game where it was insane to see. So we go forward. Carolina's coming up, and we skin the cat.
Yeah. Before we talk about Carolina, I just want to talk about biases really quick.
I
didn't even say anything about Tremaine. Can I make a comment on Tremaine? Can I
sure, make a comment.
Okay. So to be clear, I absolutely am Tremaine Edmonds' corner, 100%. I want him to be successful. That makes the Bills successful. But I've been calling it for years. Last year, I blamed Starr a lot being out. He was such a big body. Tremaine was getting plugged up by linemen. When you watch him, he has the passion and he overcommits. And so, COVID. And so, so he overcommits, leaving holes and all that. So then we talk about, the bag lines for Hyde. Hyde is a safety. If he's got to make that running back tackle, that's an issue. Not saying we shouldn't rely on our safeties there because that's the position. That's your last man there. But that middle linebacker's got to fill that gap. And so I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Right. Before Randy, you make your touch. There's one thing that's kind of similar on all these topics here, and it's just there's been also the narrative from a lot of non-Bills fans this week of whine about not getting the calls, but you guys only scored 3 points in the first half. But do we want to talk about Brady only scoring 3 points in the second half because it equaled out? I mean, at that point, it comes down to who wanted it more, and a team that is an away team that is showing up in the fans. I got to give Bills Mafia credit. I don't know if you guys heard it, but when Milano sacked Brady, that place erupted. That was great. But to be in that environment and to come back as many points as they did, I mean, Jaimeson and I both laughed. Jaimeson left because of his son, but I'm sure he was considering leaving anyway. It was just an excuse. I was getting some nasty messages from home. So regardless, it was one of those situations where we felt like we were down and out. And for those guys to come out and have the heart and passion to play and come back in that game was enough to make the loss sting a little bit less. But I think that's why we should have got that call. We should have got the opportunity, first and goal from the 1 yard line, and let Josh be Josh. Hurt or not, I guarantee I trust him to get in the end zone.
Yeah.
But it also brings up the question. Say we do put 6 on or 7 on the scoreboard or 8, however they want to play it. That gives time on the clock. Does Tom Brady take it back down and do the same thing?
In 18 seconds? I don't know. I really don't.
That's what I mean.
So we've seen it so many times before. Brady's done it.
The what ifs and all. We lost the game. Bottom line, it sucks. It is. We got to win out now.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is we actually don't need to win out technically. We need
some people to lose.
We need to win 3 of the next 4, and we could still
mandatory Patriots
very realistically win. Yeah. The Patriots game is big. Now, this is the thing is I don't want to jump a week because this Panthers game is now a must win. If you want to have any hope of winning the East, you need to win this week, and you need the Patriots to lose to the Colts. Now, the reason I suspect that this will happen is because the NFL is clearly rigged. Get my conspiracy music now. But I do think it'll happen. I think the Colts are a team that's built to beat teams like the Patriots. I think the Patriots defense is not nearly as good as it's been chalked up to be. They got really lucky against Buffalo because they had to play us in a freaking blizzard, and Josh Allen still was able to throw it 15 times or something like that.
Yeah, once suddenly they let him play football.
Yeah. So I think that this is a winnable game this weekend. I am, unlike you guys, I am in favor of playing Josh, even if he's not 100%.
I am too.
If he's 80%, play Josh. And my reasoning for this is, you think about confidence and you think about the mental toughness and fortitude of this team. Josh Allen is clearly mentally tough. The dude has ice water in his veins. Came back from 24-3 and said, or 27-3, or I think it was 24-3. They came back and he said, F you, Brady. We're still going to tie it. So
I still
think we start Josh Allen this week, and I think he will play. That being said, if you get to halftime and we're rolling them, and you're like, okay, we're steamrolling. Hopefully, Jaimison's hoping that happens. Then maybe at halftime, third quarter, you say, okay, Trubisky, you're in. You're going to finish. Go play cleanup.
Put me in, coach. I'll be there.
The good news for me is my fantasy football quarterback is Josh Allen, and I have a bye next week, so I do not have to worry about fantasy football.
I think the big thing here is they're going to have to play Josh Allen. Like you said earlier, it's a must-win. This is a game where, McDermott's getting a lot of scrutiny. I'm not saying he's going to get fired if we don't make the playoffs, but there will be even more scrutiny if he doesn't make the playoffs and it doesn't play Josh Allen when he needs the win. If we lose this game, Jerry Sullivan is coming for McDermott in post-game interview, and I don't know if McDermott's ready for that heat.
I just want to know, were you embarrassed, Zach, by that loss?
Dude,
I was just so angry at that question.
Was so great. Like they are true
credit.
Gamers. Like their mentality was exactly how I would feel. Like, are you seriously going to ask that question right now?
They held their composure, I think, because I would have lost my mind.
Important question though for Jaimeson, because we haven't heard a ton from him, and he's going to the game this weekend. Jaimeson, this is probably the most important question. Do you know what your record is when you attend Bills games?
2-0 in the last 2 years.
Okay, all right, you're allowed to go then.
So the only games I've been to is the Chiefs Bills in Kansas City, but I didn't go to the AFC Championship game. Sorry guys, it's my fault we didn't go to the Super Bowl. But I am perfect, 100%. So now, if I think back before I moved out here and when I was a kid, I couldn't tell you. I mean, I was just happy to be around it, but I think I'm going to bring the heat for sure.
Yeah, it's exciting. What's the weather looking like it's going to be? Are we getting bad weather? Is that
no? It's going to be so far good. We're all good.
Okay,
it's tailgating hard.
It's so sad that everyone always came to it's an advantage to play at home, and it's really not for this football team, not for Josh Allen. Josh Allen played in Wyoming, but that doesn't make it an ideal situation. This team does not know how to effectively run the football. And that's a huge problem when you're going to deal with bad weather games, because there's times where you just need to switch it up.
So I've had this debate so many times with people about our running backs. I love our running backs. I'm pro all three of them. All of them have some things to work on, but I think all three are absolutely incredible. Because if you see when they do get through the line, what was it? Singletary had 13-yard average last week or Sunday. I mean, how are we going to criticize guys like that? I hate to put any effort or anything on anybody, but the line, I think our line looks substantially better because Allen is so mobile. So a lot of defense have to play that contain instead of the rush, but Allen gets pressured constantly. I mean, he really does get beat up. If he didn't have the mobility, I mean, he'd be hurt. He'd be Zach Wilson, And so I think we do need to tune up O-line. I love our O-linemen, some more than others. But I think if we see an upgraded O-line, we're going to see running gaps open up. A running back can't run through people. If we don't have the gap there, we can't do anything.
Jaimeson, you excited for Friday? I know you've got a very important play date.
Maybe.
Potentially.
Hopefully. COVID cases are spiking, so I don't know if everybody's going to be able to come out, but we're going to.
It'd be great if it does. I
don't want to spoil anything early.
Yeah, don't bring it up now. It'll jinx it, but
yeah.
I just know that's something cool. We really enjoy the guy we're talking about, and it's not Reed Ferguson. We enjoy Reed too.
We love Reed,
but it's not him. But yes, there's some great players on our offensive line, and I think obviously Deion Dawkins with COVID, that's definitely affected this offensive line more than anyone wants to admit. He's a big guy, and he's had extreme battles with it. And then didn't Darrell Williams also run into a bout with COVID?
I think he got hurt. I think he had an injury.
Oh,
he got hurt. A pectoral or something like that.
Yeah, Spencer Brown got hurt. I mean, we have had so much movement on the front line.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to make a prediction based on the conversation we've had about the offensive line. I predict the Bills take a center in the draft this year. And then that might be our first round pick because we're going to be hopefully a low first round pick. I predict they might take a center because I love Mitch Morse, but I think he's got 1 year left, or maybe this is his last year. And we're not going to re-sign him. I don't think. I just think it'd be too expensive. He's too expensive, and love him, but I don't want him to get any more concussions. I think he's the guy has had a lot during his career, so I'm concerned.
But you want to talk about his athleticism though this week with the design run from Allen. He got out right in front of that, led the way, and it was beautiful. I don't like seeing Josh Allen run on design runs like that, but it is the most beautiful thing in the world when you see Mitch Morse come running like a beautiful gazelle in front of Josh Allen. And then you also see our rookie come out there and just pancake somebody. I was impressed by that because he had
you're just an Iowa fan.
Spencer Brown's a monster.
He's not from the Hawkeyes, so it's different.
Okay.
But yeah, Brown
Northern Iowa, whatever that is.
He had a rough time in certain aspects of that game. He was getting beat, and you expect it. He wasn't somebody who was expected to be this highly sought after tackle. He was somebody we didn't expect to even play. I think we were thinking Feliciano on the right side for guard and Darrell Williams on right tackle, and that was going to be what it was. But they came out and he was too good not to play, and it allowed them to move some things around. But you're going to have growing pains with him, especially coming from UNI, such a small school and not really playing as great of opponents. But the dude's a mammoth of a man, and he has that heart that Josh Allen has. He wants to go out there and pancake somebody, which is also why I love Feliciano. Yeah.
That's when I fell in love with him.
I think that Brandon Beane should exclusively draft players from D2 schools and small schools, because it seems like the guy is a wizard at picking up these players out of these small schools that they come into the NFL and they're just behemoths.
I think he does great.
Breida out of Georgia Southern too.
Well, Breida,
Bass was out of Georgia Southern, and then Breida, I think, was also Georgia Southern.
Breida wasn't drafted though; he was just signed.
No. But I look at Georgia Southern, I lived down there in Georgia for a while, and I was near that school, and nobody took that football program serious, including the players, specifically the players. So to see that it's pretty cool.
It's nice.
And I think that's where you get the heart too.
We see Brandon Beane come out in those middle rounds. Second round, not so much. We've had some busts there, but third, fourth, and fifth round picks, it seems like he really hits on those diamonds in the rough. Even Dane Jackson, a very late round pick, has come out and at least made plays that you wouldn't have even expected him to be on the roster at this point. So It's exciting to see him hit on those guys. But then you've got a bust, Cody Ford, that one's a little rough. And Edmonds, that was supposed to be this highly sought after linebacker, that he's got all the potential to be that guy. And like Jaimeson
said, should be so great.
I want him to be good because I want the Bills to be good. I just want to see more out of him because I think, as I've said in previous episodes, when you lost a guy like Kyle Williams and you lost Lorenzo Alexander, you lost key leaders of the team on defense, and it's kind of forced him to have to step up and make play calling and also line people up, which is what a middle linebacker should do. But it seems like he's struggling to do all of this if he doesn't have Star Latuile, which we might as well cut him because he doesn't want to play football for the Buffalo Bills.
Question. I just thought of something. Let me find my hand. Klein. Anybody saw, I know he's out, COVID, the protocol, just like everybody else in the world, it seems right now, but holy cow. Can we talk about him this season? I don't know if you guys have.
He's been playing out of his mind.
He is out there to murder people. Not that we condone murder, but that dude, if he gets a free shot,
him at the bar sometimes.
It's sarcasm for sure.
But
yeah, think about so Tom Brady had that scramble up the middle. I specifically remember, and I don't even know what sixth-string player had a free shot at Tom Brady.
Taron Johnson.
No, it wasn't Taron Johnson. It was a lineman of some sort. Or Taron Johnson got huge. And this guy, if put it this way, if Tom Brady breaks your ankles,
Oh yeah,
you probably shouldn't be playing football, right? He had a free shot to retire Brady, and
Klein would have laid him out. It would have been great.
Klein, his head would have been like, was it Clements who
I
popped him his
remember
rookie year?
I remember
And
the
it would have been a
exact play you're
15-yard
talking about.
penalty, and you know what? It would have been worth it. I would have paid.
And he would have been a starter after that. Whoever that
Yeah.
was, we all know his name. Now none of us do. So.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Edmonds just isn't that guy that I believe would make that hit, but Matt Milano would have made that hit as well.
Milano for sure.
All right, so let's get to this Panthers Bills
just a
game,
prediction score.
and let's get to some predictions. First of all, let me give you guys some odds here. So the Bills currently sit at plus 10.5. You take or minus 10.5. You taking the Bills 10.5 points?
It depends on if Allen's playing.
I'll go last.
It really depends on if Allen's playing. If Allen's playing, absolutely. I don't know. 10.5 makes it hard. Now I'm saying that, I really think it's going to be more 10. So I might take the Panthers for the spread. I don't know. It's tough in Buffalo with weather. You never know. And I know right now everything's looking great, but things could change. So.
All right. Well, I'll tell you. I'll let Jaimeson go last. I am going to take the 10.5 points for the Bills. Give me the Bills minus 10.5 any day. I think that's easy money.
So Vegas, when we're talking about spread, it's all Vegas, right? It's all odds, all Vegas. You're never going to beat Vegas. You're never going to beat the house. They're going to get theirs for sure. So I don't like to play the spread. I'll pick win or loss. I put the Bills win. I don't know how much. Hopefully it's by 50. Hopefully I'm sober by the end of the game. Probably not. But maybe I'll remember it. Maybe I'll be the guy you see drug off the field.
Maybe we'll see a return of Chinzilla.
I hope so. And that's a crowd going. So Amy and Brian, we'll be sitting in front of them. My stepdad's gonna float around. He's incognito. He wears gray to all sports games because so nobody knows.
Looks like we got a couple people on our
popping in.
Twitter. Which so you're gonna be at the game. It's gonna be a great time.
Yeah.
Randy, would you consider buying tickets and flying up there?
Yeah.
No, I already have a ticket, my season ticket, but it's been given away to my cousin who recently got married. So congratulations, Tim, if you're listening.
Is he taking his new wife?
No, it's a single seat, so he's going on his own.
Good
she's
for
not
him.
too pleased.
He learned
she's
early.
Not too pleased with me. But
probably him either.
I would go. I mean, I would love to go to this game. I'm saving my last personal day at work with the intention of going up for the playoff game that they get, hopefully. But, the way it looks, maybe they don't get that home playoff game, and maybe that's not such a bad thing based on how winter can look in Buffalo sometimes.
I want to give a shout out to Circling the Wagons podcast who's listening right now. Love your podcast. Listen to it every week. It's a staple. I can't miss it driving into work. So I've got a rotation, but you're definitely in there.
That is true. Zach, I think, referenced Circling the Wagons when he talked about getting into podcasting. So definitely love those guys. Love the podcast community. And I just like that it's...
as Nate said, if he can do it, anybody can do it. Right, Nate? Wink, wink. Just kidding. But no, definitely enjoyed listening to you. And it got me more enthused to get out here and put myself out there to talk with guys like Randy. So
one more bet before we put this place to kind of bed and wrap this up for the evening. But the over-under is 43.5 right now. And this is all according to Topeka Sportsbook. It could have changed, but this was 17 hours ago. 43.5. You taking the over or the under on that?
I'll go first on this one. If Josh is in, we're going over. If Josh is out, I think under.
I think number one rule of betting: always take the over. Always. I would take the over in this situation.
Yeah, I think I would take the over. I do think with the Bills being as angry as they're going to be, and the Panthers not necessarily being a high quality opponent, they should be beating the snot out of them this week. That's what I'm hoping. Don't take my advice though, because I lose a lot of bets. So,
I guess the Panthers. What are the Panthers playing for right now?
Let's take a look at that. Actually, let's see NFC standings. I don't think
they're playing for much of anything. I mean, right now with Christian McCaffrey being out and Cam Newton at quarterback, I wouldn't really want to play either. And it kind of brings up, is McDermott and Bean going to want to take it easy on them if he's blowing them out and just say, yeah, I'm going to put Mitch Trubisky in, not only because of the injury for Josh Allen, but just maybe not being a complete jerk, because it seems like we want to take every talent from Carolina anytime we can, but it's all good fun. I don't care. I mean, we signed some great guys. Klein has, like we were talking about, has been a great addition from Carolina. So
the Panthers sit at 5-8, so they're really not playing for much. I mean, there is that whole smorgasbord of 6 and 7 teams in the NFC, but I don't foresee the Panthers really. I don't think they see themselves as a playoff team.
Well, you look at the remaining games too. So they got the Bills, the Bucks, the Saints, and then the Bucks again.
Yeah,
I mean, nobody wants to say that they don't have a chance, but yeah, that's a rough. They might be looking at draft picks here. So,
but again, you got to be careful in these games going in against an underdog opponent, because for so long the Bills were that. Yeah, the Bills were that underdog, and we were the team that sucked. And I remember going to several games. I went to the Green Bay game in 2014, I think, when Bakari Rambo picked off Aaron Rodgers 3 times, and we were like, we had nothing to play for. I think we had like a slim chance at the playoffs. But sometimes you get these young, desperate teams playing for jobs, playing for pride, and playing spoiler. There's huge motivation in being able to go and ruin somebody else's chances. That Schadenfreude that you can get from tearing somebody else away from the playoffs.
And Cam Newton might have a hate for the Bills a little bit after last season of us embarrassing.
Oh yeah.
So
we haven't talked to Cam.
Yeah, so quarterback situation. They have declared, Matt Rule, the coach of the Panthers, has declared that he will play both Cam Newton and PJ Walker at quarterback. So I think you're going to see PJ Walker in there rotating in. You'll probably see Cam get the start. It'll be interesting to see if he decides to keep switching between 2 quarterbacks, because I don't think that ever works out in the team's favor. It just doesn't build enough consistency. It reminds me of the old EJ Manuel hard count.
Hey, that was great. What I wouldn't have given for EJ Manuel in this last game, lining up against the Bucks just to do a hard count, because it seemed like everyone knew he's not going to try to take this for a sneak. He's not going to do it, and then they jump every time. It's like, damn it.
Yeah. So I don't know. Do we want to keep going, guys? I feel like I'm kind of about tapped out on this, but we've been going for about 40 minutes here. Thanks to everyone who's popped in on Twitter Spaces. We're trying to do a simulcast. We're on YouTube, but we're also on Twitter Spaces. I know that Twitter Spaces is much more popular. I think it's easier to just tap that button and start listening.
And we're doing it Tuesday at 7:15 Central Time every week. Get on here and join us. And then we'll kind of try to experiment with giving some people like speaking things if they raise their hands on there and things of that nature, to kind of get your guys' opinions, because after all, you guys are the reason we do this. We don't get on here just to talk. Otherwise, I'd go with Andy and go sit at Al's and drink a beer.
Yeah,
I wouldn't necessarily just get on here and talk about it. So we do it for you guys, and we appreciate you guys listening.
Yeah, I mostly get on here to ramble, but it's been a good time doing this. I've had a not great Tuesday, but I can always look forward to talking some Bills even after a loss. Hopefully next week we can be sitting here talking about a big Patriots game, because next Tuesday, I mean, we could be talking about the division being in play again. So this hopefully will be a 1 week. This too shall pass. Actually,
I never stopped believing. What are you talking about? I did not leave Al's at halftime. That did not happen.
No, I watched it on my phone while I drove safely home.
I did. I called my dad and I said, "All right, you're my play-by-play commentator right now. Tell me what's happening." And he starts telling me what's going on, and it's like, okay, they went for it. Oh, they didn't get it. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
I was being dad of the year.
I was like,
here we go cookies. I was icing some Christmas cookies while watching the game. And then my son was super excited. Mega Josh Allen fan. He saw Josh on my phone. He's like, let's go watch on the big TV. I was like, I love you so much. You're mine. So.
Well, so we're going to have Jaimeson on here again next Tuesday, I think, to recap his experiences at the game and the sights and sounds of Buffalo.
Yeah, I should be home.
Take lots of pictures. FaceTime us in at some point for the tailgate.
Yeah, and I'll go Instagram live at some point on the Instagram.
That'd be great.
Oh, yeah, follow us on Instagram at Bills_backers_KC, I think. Or is it
Kansas
KC
City _Bills backers.
Just look up Kansas City Bills backers.
It's on there. Yeah, it's the funny memes.
He's posting quality memes every day.
Yeah, it's true. And we got a good following. We got a good group and had some good contacts with multiple people. And looking forward to making some more.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I'm Randy.
I'm Zach. And he's Jaimeson.
Yeah.
And as always,
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.